get your mind together and come on across to me. We'll hold hands and we'll watch the sunrise from the bottom of the sea. But first, are you experienced?
There's the rocks we ran into over there. Look at that lot. They've been dodgy. There's a headland. This is good to hang on to. There's the other side of it. And that's where you look to see if it's wriggly. And that's the penguin colony up there. There's our sea lion friend. Hello. 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 Come here then. Come on then. Come on then. There you go. You're a nice fellow. You came around because we threw some stuff overboard. I heard that boat before I actually saw it. It makes a hell of a noise. It's probably a good time to go out. Well, I'm surprised the hatch still works. Here's the dinghy. And yeah, the wind can come under here, but the rain gets, you can have it open when it rains. And this thing, it sits on this thing, which is good. It could go lower. But yeah, works good. Could even store stuff under here if you wanted to. Oh well. I've just realised that you can have that hatch permanently open now and you've got more headroom. You can actually stand up in here. It's great. See what's going on, don't bother even closing the hatch, get a nice breeze. The birds have left for me. There's a little sign, maybe I'm going to catch some fish, or some fish are going to jump in the boat. Who knows? Hello fella. I bet he'd like him. Well, all our batteries are charged. It took all day yesterday to charge all the batteries. So we're fully charged. If I look at the horizon, I can see that wriggle on it again and those white caps. So, and it's the time that we left yesterday. So, and it's also spring tide, which makes it even more difficult. So I looked at windy. We've got very little cell phone coverage here, but it comes in now and again. And I managed to get windy up, and it looks like later on this afternoon the wind should be picking up a bit and in the right direction southerly. So it's possible we could get out and sail all night and all the next day. We'll just have to see how we get on. But if we don't get this one, it's forecast for quite strong winds on Friday and Saturday. So it'll be better to get out here when it's not so strong winds, and then get used to it a little bit, and the strong wind can come up once we get going. That would be best. If we get becalmed and we're right out there, it doesn't really matter. I managed to get the engine started again. Again, it doesn't really matter. If I can get out there and get sailing, even on the electric engine, it doesn't really matter. I won't need the engine until I get to Holyhead. And even then I can probably get into Holyhead under sail and electric motor. So as long as I keep away from the shore, I should stay away from big engine territory. So, I'm just going to finish my cup of coffee. It's good to get some more sun, and my lip is healed up. I have to be a bit careful because it can get bad again. But I think if I just give it a little bit and I'm not stuck out here in the difficult weather, it'll be okay. It is a nice place. The birds, there's a few spots on my boat that were here when I arrived. The birds don't seem to be completely going to town on the boat, and that you did see they left 3 fish with the heads were pecked off. I don't know if they caught it. I don't know, they bit it off and they were dropped in the boat. How can you explain that? It's a bit strange, isn't it? Maybe for a sign. But nature will provide the food, somehow. It provides for them. There's thousands of them. Imagine if you were one of these birds, how you might fear for your own safety in a place like this. There you go. They all seem to get looked after. They live year after year, the sea lion. So must find his feed somehow. And there's an old saying of Jesus, which was that you become what you eat, and what you eat becomes you. And so if a sea lion eats a fish, maybe the next life the fish is a sea lion. And if we eat a sea lion, then maybe they become human. The sea lion becomes a human. And this is the ancients used to believe that the souls and spirits of animals were those of humans who had made mistakes. Who knows? It's all just interesting stuff, really. I'll leave you on that note. Oh well, one last thing. I do know that the whole world is based on justice. that every single thing that happens to everything in this world is complete justice. And if it looks like it's not justice, then we're not considering the next life. Yeah. Man's science stops at the doorway of death. And so we can't really understand justice, but I do know that everything is justice. And so when I see something that puzzles me, I try to look for what would the justice be there in the next life for the ones who died, and in this life for the ones who survived. And the cripples and people who get damaged in this life and survive, these are the ones that made the biggest mistakes. And these are the ones that end up leading their countries. When they become leaders, they lead their countries into terrible wars, like that Roosevelt fellow who led the Americans into World War II. He was a cripple in a wheelchair. Enough said. Well, maybe it's not enough said. I just want to say that if something happens to your legs, you can't walk properly, this means it's a sign. Everything is for a sign, like the fish here were for a sign. Everything is for a sign. And it means you're walking in the wrong direction. You're going the wrong way. You think you're going the right way, but you're going the wrong way big time. And this going to war, into world war, this is to go in the wrong direction in a completely worse way. And it's interesting because one would say, well, nothing good comes out of wars, but something good does come out of wars, because the wars are teaching the dark side their lessons. Say, don't do that. And always in wars there are those people who survive it, come through the other side, and there are even those who are killed and end up in the good life as heroes and end up as good life afterwards, in the afterlife, in the next life. And so everything is justice. It just is. That's what it is. And so we're going to find out if me, who I believe have been a good person, done their best to help humanity, even though humanity doesn't really want my help, to actually sail out here and get home without anything too terrible happening to me. And so far nothing bad has happened to me really. It's all just been a challenge. And so I hope that we can continue this way, like the birds do. The birds just hope for the best. They're happy enough, and you know, there's a bird floating over there, a big shark, or you know, I'm sure these sea lions would probably have a go at a bird if it could, if it was hungry. So everything needs to eat. But what gets eaten? That's interesting. Which one is selected for being eaten? How can science even investigate this? It cannot. Science is a false claim to wisdom. That's what it is. Science is fake wisdom. I'll leave it on that.
You can just get your mind together and come on across to me. We'll hold hands and we'll watch the sunrise from the bottom of the sea. But first, are you experienced? Have you ever been experienced? Well, I have. Probably scream and cry at your little world won't let you go. Who in your measly little world are you trying to prove that you're made out of gold and it can't be so? But first, are you experienced?